viewer count just work? Does the viewer count just work now? But I have viewer count here. Oh, the viewer count just doesn't work. That's actually sad. Wait, did it work? Wait, I'm live. Okay, I'm live. I know I'm live. Okay, perfect. Goons to Street. All right, turn down my mic audio. Do all that. Now, where in the actual goon? Hey there, bro. I'm live now, so yeah, I'm live. Oh wait, I didn't. Oh, I'm stupid. I didn't get the title right. If I Nanu, I'm live. If I'm live. What? Oh, the thing. Wait. Why is my chair like rotated? Why is my chair like rotated? Oh, hey, hi, Kennel. Kennel. What's up, Kennel? You're in my chat. I know it. All right, wait. So if I put chat box, what's chat box? Oh, displays on screen. Add chat box. Always show messages.
You know where you're getting viewers.
I'm not.
Is that fake?
Yeah, it's just chat box. It's just the chat box. Wait, where'd it go? Oh, I gotta redo it. Okay. Chat box.
You really need chat box.
Yes. Okay, stop making fun of me.
I'm not.
Wait, why is there no chat? What the flip? I was gonna put the chat, like, I don't know where I was gonna put it. I was gonna put it somewhere. Why is there no chat? Hello? Why did not type? Wait, start typing. Just start typing.
And I made a goal. Oh yeah.
What are you playing, bro?
I'm playing VRFS.
Oh, you play that game too?
Yeah.
Alright, whatever. That's all done now. So now we're just gonna go to Google, and we are gonna go live. It just kicked me from the metaverse. Are you actually kidding me? It's just kicked me. No, I'm not trying to watch that. I'm not trying to doom scroll on Meta Horizon. What is this? Okay, I need a second monitor generator. Yeah, wait, hold on. So let's check. Okay, checking chat. W chat. Okay, so we're gonna check if the stream is live. Is the stream doing go? Chat. Chat. Hello. Oh. I just gotta do it like this. Okay. It's so loud. Alright, we're turning that off. Alright, whatever. Oh, wait, hold on, wait. We're gonna mute the audio. And we're gonna put up this, and then we're gonna go here. And since we're at it, we'll go here, and we'll just do this. Why not? Alright, chat. What? Who? Oh, that's my little brother. Dang it. Dang it. I'm so dumb-headed. Chat, hello, can you hear me? Chat, can you hear me?
Yes, they can hear you. Gosh.
Chat.
I'm watching your stream.
Wait, why is my mic not doing go on this? My mic is not doing go on this. Okay, hello? Oh my god, my mic's not doing go on this. Is my mic... Okay, this website is cooking me.
Okay, I'm gonna stop watching.
Mo, this website's cooking me. Okay, I think I'm fixing it. Is it not cooking me? Hello? Is it not cooking me? Is it not cooking anymore? Okay, whatever. It's just bugging out. Oh, there you go. It works. Okay, whatever. We're just gonna keep it like that. Right. It's very buggy. Chat, just let you know, it is very buggy. Okay, it's very buggy. Just to clarify. Alright, we're gonna start watching his stories now. Chat, come join. We're gonna start watching his stories now. Oh, it's so loud. Turn my headset down. Okay. What? What, bro? That is such cap. Such cap. That's so fake. That's so fake, bro. Holy. Haha. Oh. Oh, that's holy fake. Holy fake, bro. Alright, next short. What do you mean play Jinx? What is play Jinx? Oh shoot, my bad. What does play Jinx mean? Chat, can you see? Can you hear the video, chat? Oh wait, he can't. They can't hear the video. Chat, they can't hear the video. Can you hear the video, chat? Oh wait, they can't.
That makes this even easier. He turned and took Dad's ID from his wallet for ransom. My lips trembled as I tried to work up the courage to scream despite the jinx, but my vocal cords locked up when I opened my mouth. That's when Eli's voice came down the stairs. "You still frozen down there, lil bro?" He was laughing, knowing I couldn't say yes. I was terrified, but the man's eyes instantly went to the stairs. He smiled. "So that kid there can speak? Let me go say hi to him." He started heading up towards Eli and my dad. I knew I had to try, so I took a deep breath and opened my mouth, but no sound came out. I tried again, but the man just gripped the railing and kept walking, so I clenched my fists as my face turned red. "Dad, there's a robber in the house!" Instantly, feet slammed above me, and Dad ran to the staircase holding his pistol. The man instantly dropped his bag and ran down, flying past me and out the window. Dad ran down with Eli behind him, while I sat there trembling. I instantly grabbed Eli's arm, my voice shaking. I beat at Eli. The man was in our house for a few minutes, but I was jinxed and couldn't scream for help. But then I tried really hard and it worked. I broke the jinx. Eli's mouth instantly opened. He stared at me with these wide, shocked eyes, then pulled me into his chest. "Yes, little brother, you beat it. I'm so proud of you." He let me have my moment. My big brother Eli and I played Jinx every day, and he'd managed to convince.
It's just for chat. Okay.
I was walking toward my favorite spot out on the city pier when I heard the breaking boards beneath my feet. Then, with a sound like a volcanic eruption, the entire left side of the pier collapsed at an angle, sending everyone stumbling, including me. Great, I thought. First I get fired and now this. What else could go wrong today? I guess I spoke too soon. While everyone else on the pier was able to maintain their footing, I went right over the guardrail and onto the beach 30 feet below. As I fell, I just prayed the sand was soft enough that I'd survive. When I opened my eyes, I assumed I was dead. I was still on the beach, but standing over me was the ghost of my father, who died more than 3 years ago.
What?
I stood up and looked myself over. I was still flesh and blood, still very much alive. I suppose I had to be hallucinating my dad's ghost. It made sense. I was fired from the engineering firm that he helped build from the ground up, so of course I felt like a failure. Then I heard another crack and the entire pier came down a few more inches, followed by a new round of panicked screams from above. The ghost pointed to the problem, a failing support beam. If a total collapse happened, people could die. Then he pointed at the driftwood lying around the beach. When I was a kid, me and my dad would collect driftwood to build castles. Little did I know, these were my first lessons in how to build things, so that eventually I could take over the family business. Suddenly.
Alright, chat. I gotta go do something. Okay. Perfect. For this scene, we're just gonna do that. And then, is my mic on? Okay, we're gonna meet the mic chat. I will be back in like 10 minutes. basu hai, basu hai.
I'm sorry, the person you were...
My bad. Alright, chat, I'm back. Chat. Okay, we're back. Okay, we're back. Hi, chat.
My engineer brain took over, and everything made sense. I knew what had to
Everything
happen.
did
I
make
collected as many logs as I could find along the beach and lined them up along the broken beam. Then I took off my belt and cinched it around the group of logs. I pulled the strap on that belt as hard as my muscles would physically allow, and suddenly the beam snapped back into place. The pier was once again level, and the people on it were safe. I looked back at the ghost of my father. He simply put his hand over his heart and then dissolved into the darkness. When I got back to the pier, I was hailed as a hero. I went on to start my own engineering firm and have been #1 in town ever since. I was walking toward my favorite spot out.
Wait, hold on. Let's try this.
And my younger brother Sam used to play Operation for hours. We'd play it when Mom told us to do homework and play it in our bedroom at night. And if we ever messed up and clipped the edge, the board buzzed loudly, and Mom would storm in and catch
So they had to lock it in when they played
us.
Operation.
Our hands had to become precise and steady just so we could play. Our family were on a road trip when the truck clipped us. Our car tumbled through the air and we rolled, landing on our side. Me and my mom thankfully only had minor cuts. But when we got out, Sam was on the road not moving. He'd fallen out while the car was rolling, and his face, neck, and arms were all embedded with shards of glass. He was crying and screaming in pain, and every breath he took drove the shards deeper into his skin. I realized some were dangerously close to his arteries. The ambulance was 30 minutes away because we were out in the desert, and I knew we needed to get the glass out of him ASAP. I opened the first aid kit from the trunk and pulled out tweezers, walking over to Sam with shaking legs but steady hands. This is just like Operation, I told myself. I knelt down, and Sam's eyes were wide and terrified, but he nodded bravely. I placed the tweezers to a shard of glass at his shoulder, but that's when Mom yanked the tweezers from me. "Stop it! You're not a doctor!" The force lodged the shard deeper, and Sam screamed in pain. "Look what you did," she said. "We're waiting for a doctor." But that's when Sam spoke through his tears. "Please, Mom, let him do it. It's just like Operation. We play it all the time and you never catch us. Please trust him." Mom's face softened. I could tell she was terrified, but she gave me the tweezers and closed her eyes. Sam nodded, and I slowly pulled a shard from his shoulder, then one from his wrist. I was sweating and my heart pounded, but my hands stayed steady due to the thousands of hours of operation. I was walking toward my favorite. Me and my younger brother Sam. Thousands of hours of operation. Another shard came out, then another. I didn't clip Sam once, and Mom's jaw dropped. I placed my tweezers on a shard of glass near Sam's neck, near the carotid artery. He nodded, and I slowly pulled it out. The most dangerous shard was gone. By the time the ambulance came, every shard was out of Sam's body, and in a pile beside us. As I got the last one out, my hands started shaking uncontrollably. I'd kept them steady for just long enough, but now my body was in shock. But Sam reached out and held them until they stopped trembling. "Hey big brother, you just played Operation, and I didn't buzz once. You won." I laughed and calmed down, hugging Sam tight. Me and my younger brother Sam I walked out onto the stage in front of 300 people,
crazy,
sat down at the piano, and took the deepest breath of my life. I looked up at the only seat in the room that was empty. It was my grandma's. She'd sat in the 3rd row for every recital since I was 4, in the same brown coat, with the same little wave when our eyes met from the stage. Tonight she was supposed to be there too. She'd circled the date on her kitchen calendar the day they printed the program. She'd be waiting in her car at 6 in the morning, every Saturday, ready to drive me into the city for lessons. She'd hum along to whatever was on the radio, off key, and pretend not to hear me beg her to stop. I missed practice for the first time when she didn't wake up and gave the world her last breath. The song in front of me was 6 months of pencil and erasing and starting over, the only thank you I had left to give her. I closed my eyes, and I began.
Oh my
cry, chat. I don't know. I might cry. This is so sad. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is so good. Like, this is beautiful. This is beautiful, chat. Chat, this is so beautiful. You can agree with me. Holy chat, this is the most beautiful thing ever. It's so beautiful. We gotta lock in. Lock in. We can't laugh, chat. We're not laughing. Oh, this is so
I lifted my hands off the keys, and the hall didn't make a sound. Not for a long time. Somewhere in the back, a woman was crying. The host walked to the mic to call up the next girl, but she was already in the front row shaking her head. She knew there was nothing left to play. I walked down off the stage. I walked past the rows of people who'd never met her, and I sat down in her seat. I dragged my sleeve across my face. The third row was full now. I hope you heard it, Grandma. I walked out onto the stage in front. My friend slid me a piece of paper with the words, "Say moist," written down, and I instantly jumped back in fear. I'd hated the word moist my whole life, and Jack always made fun of me for it. "Dude, why are you being so moist right now?" Jack laughed, and I covered my ears and screamed, "Shut up," so loud the whole cafeteria turned. "I'm gonna make you say moist one day, dude." I threw my fork at him. I'm never saying that word. But that evening, I was at Jack's house by his backyard pool. I was walking along the edge, when suddenly my foot slipped and I fell straight in. The water swallowed me, and I instantly started panicking because I couldn't swim. I thrashed hard and screamed for Jack to help me, and that's when his face lit up. "I will, but only if you say moist." My chest went cold because I couldn't say that word. I splashed as water went up my nose and yelled, "I'm not saying it. Now help me, I'm gonna die." The water filled my mouth and I choked, but Jack just crossed his arms. "Then I guess you're dead, moist boy." He kept repeating, "Say the word moist boy," and I cried, trying to cover my ears. "I can't say it. I can't say that word." But that's when my head went under and everything went quiet. I saw Jack still standing at the ledge through the water just as my vision blurred. The word moist tried to leave my lips, but the water stopped it. That's when I felt something. Jack was pulling me out. He dove in and dragged me onto the ledge. I lay there, my vision returning as I coughed up water. He looked at me. "Dude, why didn't you say moist?" I covered my ears. "Dude, shut up." My friend slid me a piece of paper. A woman walked into my cafe and ordered a small coffee, but her boyfriend immediately cut in front of her and crossed his arms. "She'll be having a large. Don't listen to her." I glanced between them and said, "So what size?" The woman nodded. "A small, please." But he instantly slammed his hands on the counter. I said she'll take a large. I speak for her. He turned to her with a clenched jaw. "The large costs 20 cents more than the small. I'm not wasting money." I could see her lips trembling. "But honey, I only want—" "No!" He yelled at her so loud, the whole cafe went silent. He ripped her handbag off her shoulder and slapped her credit card in front of me. "Charge her for a large." I picked up the card. "Ma'am, would you like the small?" She started to answer, but he leaned over the counter. "Don't ask her. She's too stupid to know what she wants. She'll take a large, not a small. Isn't that right?" He turned to her with these manic, threatening eyes. That's when I looked right at him and cleared my throat. "Is this a consistent thing in your relationship? She tells you it's obviously small, while you scream and insist it's large." The whole cafe cracked up immediately. His face went red with embarrassment, as even she started giggling and clamping her hand over her mouth. He turned and stormed out, and I grabbed a small cup and started pouring. A woman walked into my cafe and ordered a small coffee, but her boyfriend immediately cut in front of her and crossed. The manager dropped my 5-year-old blender straight in the trash can behind the returns counter. "We don't take garbage back, and we don't serve scammers." The whole line went quiet, and the couple behind me pulled their cart back like I was contagious. I lifted my blender back out of his trash by the rubber band on its lid and pointed at the letters 12 feet over his head. "Your own sign says you never say no to returns. That sign isn't for people with a face like yours. This thing is obviously old and used." He snapped his fingers, and security carried me out with my blender hugged to my chest. The manager pointed at me from the doorway. "I got your face now. Every cashier in here is gonna know that face." I picked myself up off the concrete and walked to the hardware store with a plan. The next morning, I came back in the middle of their anniversary sale because I wanted the aisles packed. I carried a ladder under one arm, a paint can in the other, and my rusted 5-year-old blender in my backpack. I walked past the returns counter, and a cashier froze mid-scan, so the manager had kept his word. She knew my face on sight, but I still set my ladder up under the sign, climbed and started painting, matching the font so clean nobody could tell the difference. She waved over a worker in a vest, and he stopped at the foot of my ladder. "Sir, what are you doing?" I kept my brush moving. "Sign maintenance." He squinted up at the wet letters with his radio halfway to his mouth. "Nobody told me about this. They never tell you guys anything." He walked off, but the cashier already had the store phone at her ear, so I quit being careful and painted faster. I finished the last letter as the manager came sprinting down the the aisle, and the whole anniversary crowd read it with him. "We never say no," with a fresh little asterisk, and underneath in the same perfect print, "Unless we don't like your face. Get down, you can't put that on my wall." I sat back on the top rung. "Why not? You said it yesterday." I just wrote it down. A lady with a heaping sale cart pointed up at the wall. "If that new sign's a fact, I'm returning every single thing in this cart." The murmur ran down the sale line, and the phones came up. He went pale at the prospect of losing all his customers. "Fine, I'll take the blender. Just get down." I climbed down slow, pulled the blender from my backpack, and set it on his counter, rubber band and all, and he picked it up to scan it with the same 2 fingers. The refund came out to $11, and the paint had cost me $30. Worth it. The manager dropped my 5-year-old blender straight in the trash can behind the returns counter. "We don't take garbage back, and we don't serve scammers." The whole line went quiet, and the couple behind me pulled their cart back like I was contagious. Every year.
Wait 1 second. I'm gonna see something. Sub equals shout out, chat. So make sure to sub, and you're gonna get a shout out in this video. My bad. Why am I doing? I'm not saluting. Alright, whatever. My tung 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 sahur. Tung tung tung. Hi, Ganold. Hi, Ganold. Ganold. He is a gunner. And my tung 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 sahur. Tung 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 sahur. My tung 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 sahur. Tung 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 sahur. My tung 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 sahur. Tung 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 sahur. My tung sahur. Tung 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 sahur. My tung tung. Alright, I'm sorry, chat. I just had to look. VMT is God.
The manager dropped my 5-year-old.
Why am I playing a video? I don't want to play the video. Alright. Chat, make sure to join the stream. You know, we're gonna be streaming. Stream doesn't end till I laugh, so try and make me laugh. In general, just try and make me laugh. Somebody try and make me laugh, and I end stream. So yeah. Chat, that would be tough. Okay, that's another one. Alright, but medias. That's legend. Join my stream. Please. Alright, chat. Alright, we're gonna go back to the video. Oh,
Every year, I would buy all my family's Christmas presents. Mom would hand Dad a gift labeled "From Mom" that I'd bought, wrapped, and put under the tree myself. Everybody knew I bought the gifts, but nobody ever thanked me or got me any presents or even helped me go shopping for them. But one Christmas morning, I walked in late with all their presents still in the van outside. My parents instantly snapped. Mom said, "Why are you late? And where are the presents?" I was in disbelief because I'd warned them last night I would be late. My van broke down, and I had asked them to help, but they said no, so I had to borrow my friend's van in order to make it. I told them this, but they rolled their eyes, and my nephew scoffed. "You better have gotten me the 10-pound slime set like I asked you." I looked over, and my dad was telling my mom, "I wonder what I got you this year, honey." He smirked at me, and Mom replied, "I don't know, honey, but you're always so generous." The whole family laughed, and Mom told me to go put all the presents under the tree, then start dinner prep because she was too stressed from the lack of presents this morning to start. I was shocked, but turned to walk outside when my niece pointed at the empty Christmas Christmas tree and told me, "Chop chop, my friends already posted what they got. You're embarrassing our family." I called out, "Dad, will you help me bring the presents in?" But he was busy laughing with Mom. I tried my nephew, but he was scrolling his phone. I looked around at everyone ignoring me and walked out. I got in the van and drove off. My parents instantly called me and screamed, "Why are you leaving with the presents?" I calmly replied, "I could tell I wasn't wanted, so I'm acting like it." I hung up. 15 minutes later, they were at my front door, demanding their presents. I let them scream for a few minutes, then went upstairs, looked out my window, and called out to them, "I have one present for you." I chucked my nephew's 10-pound slime set out on them, and watched it cover them all head to toe. Then I closed the window, sat down at my laptop, and started listing every single present for sale. Every year, I was sitting on a mall bench with my 15-year-old Chihuahua Salami slumped against my chest. We'd been walking for 10 minutes, and he was already too tired to keep going. But then my body jolted as I heard the rapid beeping behind me. An unzipped backpack was ticking from under a bench with a girl and her grandma sitting on it. My face dropped when I saw the wires and a red 15-second countdown. 14, 13. I realized it would explode and screamed, "Run, it's a bomb," then immediately took off with legs trembling in fear. Salami lazily yawned against my chest, and I knew I needed to keep him safe because his 16th birthday was in a week. But when I looked back, I nearly dropped Salami in horror. The grandma was fast asleep on that bench with no clue the bomb was under her, while the little girl cried and tugged her sleeve, sobbing, "We have to run, Grandma." I saw the bomb under them tick to 7 seconds, but the girl wouldn't stop trying to drag her grandma's hand. I realized they were going to die. 6 seconds. I watched the girl straining with all her strength and still didn't know what to do. But then I felt Salami push against my chest. He flew through the air and landed on the ground, and I saw his leg twist the wrong way, but he still sprinted towards the girl faster than he had in years. My chest went cold as I tried to chase after him, but Salami was already throwing his body onto the beeping backpack. I felt my knees buckle as I realized he was shielding them from the explosion, and then the timer hit 0. The bomb exploded so loud I had to cover my ears. I immediately ran towards the smoke, crying, "Salami, no," but he wasn't even there anymore. The only thing left was his leash. I looked to my left and saw the girl and her grandma, both alive and covered in dust. "Your dog saved us," the girl cried. I dropped my knees and scooped up Salami's leash. Salami could barely walk anymore, but he ran one last time when he needed to. I was sitting on a mall bench with my 15-year-old. My mom suddenly had a heart attack, and my 9-year-old sister now had no partner for her dance recital in 6 weeks. She asked Dad to be her partner, but he laughed. "That's what girls do. I'm not wearing pink skirts. You don't need a partner." Tilly walked off crying. So the next day I asked Dad if I could join the gym because I wanted to grow some muscle. He put his hand on my shoulder. Finally, my son is becoming a real man. He dropped me off and watched.
1 second. I'm gonna... Yeah? Yeah? 1 second. Chat, I will be back. I gotta go do something.
Chat, it is too loud out there. It is like too loud. Whatever. Anyway, we're gonna stream. I get my headphones out. I was gonna call my chat, I'm gonna call a couple people to answer.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the person you were...
He's not answering. Ooh, I gotta read my Bible. Alright, I'll read that in a bit. Who am I gonna call? Ooh, I haven't called him in a couple years. Or like a while. Not a couple years, but like a while. So I'm just gonna call him. Update ready. Whatever.
watched me walk in. I did a few sets of curls near the window so he could see, and the second he drove off, I ran through the back exit into the ballet studio. I practiced with Tilly for 2 hours, falling over and failing every turn, but I was determined. When Dad finally picked me up, I came out through the gym doors, sweaty and complaining about how sore my biceps were. He chuckled and punched them. Don't be a sissy, kid. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday after that, he'd watch through the window. My veins bulged, weight slammed, but the second he pulled away, I was out the door, doing pliers and pirouettes with Tilly until my legs burned. One night, I got in his car, out of breath after hitting squats, and my dad looked at my calves. Those are getting huge. That's my son. He hugged me, having no clue the calves were from his son doing twirls and leaps in a pink tutu. He stopped watching after that and would just drive away. But then one evening while practicing with Tilly, I saw him pulling into the parking lot earlier than usual. He was coming into the gym with 2 new pairs of gym shoes to train together. I stopped mid-pirouette. I grabbed my gym bag, and Tilly yelled, "Run before he sees you." I sprinted out, sneaking into the gym 2 feet behind him in my pink tutu. I turned into the bathroom and changed. By the time I came down, he was walking around looking for me. I slid into an unused bench and started lifting. "There you are," he smiled at me. "That's the intensity I like to see," he said while I was panting and out of breath from the sprinting. He took videos of me benching. I kept grunting and talking about my fake 1-rep maxes, while Tilly was in the studio perfecting our routine. After my set, he got on the bench to try himself, and when he couldn't do a single rep, he beamed, "Wow, son, is this actually what you lift?" He didn't know I'd slid an extra 45 pounds per side right as he went to lay down. The recital day finally came. Our dad was in the audience alone, thinking I was at the gym. I looked at Tilly backstage. "You ready?" She was shaking and nervous. I whispered, "What's the worst he's gonna do? Call you a girl?" She laughed. We stepped out and started performing our routine, with me jumping and turning with Tilly the way Mom was supposed to. Dad's face fell completely. His son was on stage dancing like a girl. He was red in the face, angry, and completely shaking. But when our routine ended, the whole audience cheered, and my dad was actually clapping too and smiling. Afterwards, he came up to me and Tilly. "I'm so sorry, kids. I don't know how to deal with your mom's death, but I shouldn't have pushed you away and made you feel you have to hide stuff from me." He hugged us, and that was the first time I ever saw him cry. My mom suddenly had a heart attack, and my 9-year-old sister now had no partner for her dance recital in 6 weeks. She asked Dad to be her partner. I came home to every light in the house on and told my son each one was going to cost him $1. He was on the couch with the TV on, 2 lamps going, and the hallway lit up behind him. I pulled $1 from my wallet and stuck it on the fridge. "The first one's on me, but from now on, every light you leave on costs you one of these." By the end of the week, there were $9 on the fridge. He didn't care until he went to buy the video game he'd been saving for and came up short. He sat on his bed counting his money over and over, and it still wasn't enough. The next morning, I left the bathroom light on, and he was waiting for me in the hallway. He flipped the switch and held out his hand. "Light was on, Dad. That's $1. I laughed and handed it to him. He didn't laugh back. He just pocketed it and walked away. After that, a notebook showed up on the kitchen table. Every room had a column, and every time someone left a light on, he logged it. I unplugged my phone charger one morning, and he appeared out of nowhere. "Dad, that's been on all night. It counts. You owe me $1. He started checking the power bill every month, and one night at dinner, he slid it across the table and pointed at the number. "Dad, look, we saved $20 this month. Last week I walked into the garage and he was up on a step stool changing a light bulb. Dad, these are the good ones. They last like 10 years. Last night I left the hallway light on, and he came out of his room in his pajamas, notebook in hand. He flipped the switch and held out his palm. "That's $1, Dad." I shook my head and handed it over. Best dollar I ever spent. I walked through my school's metal detector and it started beeping. I was only carrying a lunchbox in my hand, but the principal snatched it and started whispering, "Oh my God." He led me to his office where he set the lunchbox on the table and demanded to know why I brought a bomb into school. I stared at my ham and cheese sandwich, my juice box, and my candy bar and told him this was just my lunch my mom had packed. He freaked out. What kind of lunch makes the detector start beeping? I shrugged and suggested the detector was just faulty, but he started examining my sandwich, holding the bread against the light and trying to see if there was something inside the crust. I asked him to please stop touching my sandwich with his unwashed hands, and he slammed his palms on the table. "You're worried I'm going to find something, aren't you?" He picked up his phone, and before I knew it, 2 police officers and a drug-sniffing dog barged into the office. The dog immediately approached my food. The principal pointed his finger. "See? The dog knows that's a bomb," I replied, "or it just wants my sandwich." The principal picked up my juice box and looked at it closer, and one of the officers leaned in and said, "That could be gasoline inside. Maybe Maybe he wants to start a fire. I told them the juice box wasn't even opened, so I couldn't have gotten anything inside it. I watched them pick apart my sandwich, laying out the ham and cheese individually on the desk, and wondered how these were the people in charge of making decisions. Eventually, the principal called my mom. "Please get here immediately. We suspect your son has a bomb." My mom rushed in. "Oh my God, is everything okay?" But then she saw my lunchbox on the table, the sandwich picked apart, the juice box opened, and the dog trying to tear at the wrapper of my candy bar. "So what's the issue?" Our detector started beeping when he walked through. "Ma'am, we suspect these are explosives disguised as a sandwich." My mom looked around, then scrunched her face and pointed to her temple. "Are you people cuckoo?" She picked up the bread and crumpled it on the principal's desk. "I just left my 2-month-old baby home alone because your detector told you a ham and cheese sandwich was a bomb. And instead of going, maybe the detector is wrong, you decided that my 8-year-old son had somehow created bombs that look like bread." Everyone's faces went red. The principal stared at his desk, and the officers wouldn't say a word. But my mom kept going, calling them incompetent, analytically deficient, and said if it started raining knowledge, they would choose to stay inside. Finally, she told them they'd be paying for a new lunch for me, and stormed out. The next day, I walked up to the principal and asked if I should take my sandwich through the detector, just in case it's a bomb. I walked through my school's I was 15 when I got my first job as a gas station cashier to help out my single mom. My dad ran away, so I knew I needed to step up. But on my first day, a man in a mask and firearm stormed in at 2 a.m. He yelled, "Hand over the money," and I immediately knew I wasn't getting paid enough for this. My hands trembled with fear as I pressed the cash into his palm and pressed the silent alarm under the desk. But then he immediately gave me back everything except one single $50 bill. I was still shaking when he lowered his firearm. "I'm sorry, but it's my son's 16th birthday in a few days. I haven't seen him since he was a baby, so I want to send the $50 to his mom, and maybe she can pass it on to him. That's why I'm doing this." I felt bad, so I replied, "I'm sure his son would appreciate that." But then the man instantly hung his head. "That boy is the only reason I keep trying in this life. Maybe one day I'll find him, and he'll be open to accepting me as his dad." I saw tears form in his eyes, and a strange feeling hit my chest.
Alright. Who do I want to call? I'm gonna call Z-Perm and try and get an answer. Basu hai, doje bashita, daru da via, papa, no baila. Desert ass and cheeseburger. Chat. Chat, make sure to type in chat and make sure to sub. Make sure to type I sub and you'll get a shout out. Hello? Hello? Did this shit break? Fuck. Oh, it didn't break. Alright, whatever. Basuhe, da jita, daruga vida, mapa, nama nu bailao. That's playing on my T. Oh god. Aje bajita, daruga via bahan. Oh, ba da 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 da, doma nu bailao. No bailao, no bailao, bailao, no bailao, no bailao. I am. For some reason, chat, I'm like hella. Damn it. Chat, you can also try and make me laugh too if I laugh.
As I thought about how the police were coming. I told him I was 15 just like his son and didn't have a dad either, and most nights I still sat on the porch waiting for him to come back. His lips trembled as he nodded and went to leave, but when he turned around, I noticed a few strands of ginger hair sticking out from the bottom of his mask. I told myself it couldn't be him, but still called out, "Wait!" The man turned, and I asked him if he has a scar on his knee. "How do you know that?" he replied. I felt tears forming as I asked if his son was named Michael. His mouth flew open and he nodded. I gripped my head. "I'm Michael." The man immediately pulled off his mask, and that's when police walked in. They cuffed him and started walking him out, and tears fell from his eyes. I knew I couldn't let this happen, and immediately ran over the counter, my heart pounding. I clicked the alarm on accident. I yelled to the officers, "He's not here to rob me." They looked at me, looked at the man, and I pulled a picture from my wallet. The only picture I had of me and my dad. The man in front of me looked just like the man in the picture. The officers took one look at it, nodded, and left. I cried staring at him, and suddenly felt my throat closing. "Dad." His lip quivered as he gripped my shoulder. "Son." We pulled each other into a hug and sobbed. I found my dad when he tried to rob me. I was 15 when I got my first job as a gas station cashier to help out my single mom. My dad ran away, so I knew I needed to step up, but on my first day, a man in a mask and firearms stormed in at 2 a.m. He yelled, "Hand over the money." Me and my sea crew were hauling treasure chests across the ocean when we heard a scream. I dropped the rope I was holding in shock. I hollered, "Pirates incoming! Keep the Queen's gold safe!" My entire crew scrambled to protect the treasure chests while the ship slammed into our side, hooks bit our rail, and dozens of pirates poured onto our deck screaming at the top of their lungs. They tied us up and held us down to poles on the ship, and their biggest man hauled our first chest into the sunlight, wedged his axe under the lid, and cracked the seal open. My whole body froze with fear, because the gold belonged to the Queen, and if they stole it, the Queen's navy would hunt down this ship and hang every last one of us. Their captain strolled through the spilled gold. "The booty's mine, the ship's mine." He pointed at me and the other strongest men on the ship. "Get these dogs row for me now." His crew started unchaining us, and I raised my voice over their laughter. "Put it back, all of it. Sail away, and hope that Her Majesty never learns your names." The captain crouched down and pointed his hook at me. "Make him walk the plank." I gulped and tried my best to stay calm. A pirate pulled me up by the shoulders and shoved me towards a plank. He pointed at the ocean. "She's real feisty today. She'll have you dead in no time." My entire crew was forced to watch as I slowly put one foot in front of the other. The captain grinned. "Dead men tell no tales." And while my left foot hovered over the icy water, I heard screaming behind me. I turned around and their lookout shrieked, "Sail ho! The Queen's navy is here!" A warship 5 times our size filled the horizon. It had cannons locked and loaded and was ready to kill us all. The captain's grin died and he shrieked, "Put it back! Put it all back!" And grown pirates started shoveling doubloons into chests with their bare hands. One pirate knelt on the deck pressing 2 halves of a seal back together, and I leaned my head against the mast. "You can't unbreak a seal." He took out a gun and got ready to turn it inwards. Me and my sea crew were hauling treasure chests across the ocean when we heard a little kid came into my store. But the second he saw me, he froze and started trembling uncontrollably. I felt bad because I knew my prison tattoos terrified him, and his legs shook as he slowly walked over. He pointed at the bag of blue Sour Patch behind me, so nervous he couldn't look me in the eye. His voice shook as he asked for the price, but when I placed the bag on the counter, he immediately snatched it. "I'm so sorry for this, sir." He began sprinting out the door with the Sour Patch, his legs still shaking, but I just reached under my desk and calmly pressed the anti-theft button. The front entrance doors locked, and he stopped dead. His eyes went wide, and he tried prying the doors open, straining as hard as he could. I calmly walked over and towered over him. Pee began running down his leg when he turned around because he was so scared. He dropped the bag of Sour Patch and covered his face, crying, "I'm sorry, I didn't want to do this." I looked at him and felt like something deeper was going on, because he didn't look like the petty theft delinquent type. I knelt down and asked him why he stole from my store. He was still crying, and between choking sobs he said, "My big sister is dying at the hospital. My parents spent all the money on her treatment, and I just wanted her to have her favorite candy one last time." He looked up at me. "I'm a good kid, I swear, I just didn't know what to do." I felt my heart break as I picked up the Sour Patch and pressed it into his hands while he sobbed. I walked him to the hospital, then watched him give her the Sour Patch, and realized he wasn't a bad kid. He was just doing a little wrong so he could do a lot right.
That's
a little kid,
actually
the fat
perfect.
kid in town, took off his hoodie
Damn,
and started
he
climbing the
killed
diving
his
board.
daughter.
I'm gonna jump. He
Alright.
reached the highest board and put his hands behind his back, but my eyes widened when I saw my daughter in her floaty right under him. I yelled no and lunged to remove her, but his stomach was already hurtling through the air like an atomic bomb. He hit the water so hard I felt a shockwave, and half the water in the pool instantly cleared out. He stood up in the remaining water smiling, fists at his hips like he was proud. But then my daughter's floaty came up beside him, and I saw she wasn't in it. I instantly panicked and dove under the water, but she wasn't anywhere. I came up gasping and clenched my fists, wondering how this dessert lover made my daughter disappear by falling on her. I grabbed his shoulders and shook him. "Where's my daughter?" He picked up her empty floaty, and his jaw dropped when he saw his stomach imprint where my daughter was. He immediately started splashing everywhere looking for her, screaming, "Not again," while I got out to go look. She wasn't in the bushes. She wasn't with the other kids crying because of what they just saw. She had vanished because of his stomach flabs. But then I tripped over something. I looked down and realized it was the kid's quadruple XL hoodie. I was so angry at him I went to kick it, but then his fat hand blocked my leg. "Don't touch my stuff. I know you're angry, but we'll find her." He yanked his hoodie up, and that's when my jaw dropped. My daughter was right there under his hoodie, soaking wet but alive. I instantly knelt down and scooped her up. She'd never disappeared. Turns out when the fat kid splashed into the pool, she got caught in the water he cleared out, and the wave carried her out and tangled her under his hoodie. I stood there holding her, thankful she was alive. Then I looked at his chubby grin and pushed him back in. The rest of the water left the pool. The fat kid in town took off his hoodie and started climbing the diving board. I'm gonna jump. He reached the highest board and put his hands behind his... My youngest dropped by the campfire screaming and clutching his right side, and we were 2 hours from the nearest hospital. The dispatcher on the phone said no ambulance could reach us for 2 hours, and the appendix was about to rupture. Everyone froze around the fire, but my oldest was already sterilizing the camp knife in the flames. "Dad, I got this. I know what I'm doing. This is my field of expertise, if you will." His mom grabbed his wrist. "You're not cutting a kid open with a camp knife." But I didn't know if we had a choice. I turned to her. "Honey, you know our oldest has ADHD, and he had a hyperfixation with medical textbooks. We have to trust him." My little one's screaming went quiet, and his eyes rolled back, and my wife was trembling. My oldest knelt over him and poured a water bottle on his hands. "Tell me where to cut." The dispatcher's voice broke up through the speaker. "Find the bony point on his right hip. Go 2 inches toward the belly button." But my son's knife was already moving before she finished. He opened a small cut, blood welled up, and his hands stayed dead steady while everyone behind him looked away. A minute later, he lifted something small and red out of the cut, dropped it in the dirt, and my little one's breathing evened out. My wife buried her face in my shoulder. I can't watch. The paramedics reached us an hour later and rushed my youngest into the hospital. The surgeon came out afterward shaking his head. Whoever took that out in the field did it textbook, cleanest I've ever seen. My oldest looked up from the medical textbook he was reading for fun. Appendix is one of the easy ones. Let's just be glad it wasn't something like a thoracic aortic dissection repair. Now that I wouldn't have been able to do. My youngest dropped by the campfire screaming and clutching his right side, and we were 2 hours. I broke a world record and became hated for it. My classmate Kaylee was diagnosed with cancer, and the life-saving surgery she needed cost too much for her family to afford. My school organized a marathon to raise money for her, and that's when I announced I would finish the marathon in under 2 hours and break the record to raise more money. Everyone laughed because I couldn't even finish the mile in gym class, but I said I'd spent all summer training with the best runners in Kenya. I repeated this until local news picked it up, and our county mayor showed up to school asking if I was really going to break the record. I said, "I'm doing it for my classmate," and pulled up a video from Fiverr of random guys in Kenya claiming I ran with them in the mountains. "He's the best we've ever seen." The mayor immediately announced if I broke the record, he'd fund the surgery. Kaylee looked at me like I was her hero. Now I just had to actually break the record. When race day came, the mayor was at the start line with camera crews. The gun went off, and we started running. I sprinted as fast as I could, immediately getting ahead of everyone else as they were going slow, pacing themselves. My heart raced as I sprinted and felt like I would pass out. But then at the 1 mile mark, I saw nobody in my rear view. No reporters, no classmates. Perfect. I quickly ducked off course and into the trees, where Kaylee and her dad were waiting with their car. I got in and we drove off. We spent the next hour eating chips and playing Kaylee's favorite games. Then 1 hour 43 minutes into the race, Kaylee's dad drove me to the bushes 2 miles from the finish line. I quickly checked that nobody was looking and ran back onto the course. I ran as fast as I could for the last 2 miles and came into view of the finish line at 1:57. Even from a distance, I saw everyone's shocked faces and cameras flashing rapidly. I crossed the finish line at 1 hour 59 minutes 45 seconds, exhausted. I collapsed to the floor, and the mayor had his hands over his head in shock. The reporters instantly started writing about the teenager who broke the record, and I was still out of breath when the mayor signed a check for the exact amount needed for Kaylee's surgery. She cried tears of joy, and that's when I took the reporter's microphone and told the truth. The sprint at the start, the car, the last 2 miles. Everyone's faces dropped, and the mayor turned red. He was about to get angry, but I said, "If you want to make me the bad guy for making sure my classmate lived, then so be it." He went silent as me and Kaylee hugged while her dad watched with tears. She had her surgery, and when she woke up, I was right there. The first thing she told me was, "At least now I hold the world record for the biggest bullshitter." I broke a world record and became hated for it. My classmate Kaylee was diagnosed with cancer. My sister gave our 6-year-old brother a Chinese candy bar, and he instantly started dying. Reagan had spent the last 2 years studying Mandarin in Beijing. She sent us pictures with her Chinese host parents and had our dad send her $500 every month for spendings. But when our brother Max pulled a granola bar from her bag and asked, "Reagan, what does this mean?" she stared at the Chinese symbols with a confused look like she didn't know a single word. My hands instantly trembled because Reagan was a compulsive liar from the day she was born. I watched her stutter, "chocolate and oats and honey," and watched Max ask if there were any peanuts. Reagan shook her head. "Nope, no peanuts anywhere." But when Max tore it open and took a bite, he instantly started wheezing. His lips swelled and his face turned red as he dropped to the floor. Reagan started freaking out, and when Dad came running and saw the unwrapped candy bar, Reagan instantly threw her hands in the air. I told Max the Chinese candy had peanuts, but he didn't listen. I gripped my head in horror and screamed back, "No, Reagan, you read the Chinese writing and told Max it was safe. You've spent 2 years in China. How could you not read if it had peanuts?" Reagan went red, but Dad was already on his knees calling the ambulance. At the hospital, Dad gripped Max's hand while I stood over Reagan in the corner. "Why didn't you tell Max the candy had peanuts?" That's when she broke down and started crying. I never went to Beijing. I spent the last 2 years in Bulgaria with my sugar daddy. I told Max there were no peanuts, so you'd think I learned Chinese and never know where I really was. I gripped my head as I realized she'd risked our brother's life to keep up her lie. Suddenly, Dad's phone dinged. A $25,000 wire transfer from Bulgaria. Reagan looked up through tears. "My sugar daddy says sorry." My sister gave our 6-year-old brother a Chinese. I was walking to meet my friend when suddenly I stepped on a loose manhole
Alright, chat, we're gonna
cover and fell straight down into the sewer. I screamed and landed hard in freezing water. When I looked up,
Alright, chat, we're gonna take a little break from this. And I'm gonna go take a break in general. If our live stream ends was true. Sub you shout out now. Next to taking break. And then after I'm done taking my weird long break, we're gonna go play minigames. Yeah, we're gonna play minigames. I will be right back, chat. I am back from the dead. You thought I was gonna die? I am back. Alright. Yo, Dad.
Yeah,
How much longer are you gonna be?
I'm at Walmart. I'm almost done. I got your dang memory card.
Oh.
I'm on my way. I'm almost done here. Like 5, maybe 10 more minutes. I'll be home.
Okay. Alright.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I bought this guy's glue too, but in limits. I'm not gonna buy 30 at one time.
Oh, okay. Alright. I love you. Bye.
Alright, bye.
Bye. I love you.
Bye.
Yo. Chat. What happens if I play VR with this? I wonder. We'll find out. It's very laggy, so I'm just gonna not do that. Yeah, this is gonna go bye bye. Yo, 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 are you busy?
No.
Cause I was gonna ask you when to get on, cause I'm streaming, but like since you just called now. Okay, I just started like an hour ago, and I haven't played Gorilla Tag at all. I was just watching videos and stuff. I was trying to do it if I laugh, the stream ends, and I didn't laugh, so the stream's still going. Alright, are you busy?
No.
You want to get on?
Sure.
Okay, because I was about to stream, but like since you're here, I'll play with you. Unless you want to play Gorilla Tag. Whatever you do, bro. Chat one time. It is so loud in my ass cheek. Chat, it's loud in my butt cheek. Alright. We're just gonna turn off this camera because this camera is stupid. That was for the audio, whatever it's called. We're gonna close that.
I literally turned on my headset. Now I'm mid boss fight.
What? How'd you get mid boss fight?
I don't know.
He's in mid. That's crazy. Alright, I'm gonna mute my mic. Because it goes to the trees. I'm just gonna do that.